Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is Mike and the name of this channel is very important. I want you to hear it and remember it. The name of this channel is The 4 Things That Heal BPD and NPD Abuse. And today we're going to be talking about once again, the trap of codependence. The delusion of codependence, specifically, I guess we should say the neurosis of codependence strikes again, as it will. Newer people, if you've been on the channel, you've heard me say this enough. If you've interacted with me, you know my first response is going to want to know, have you done the 4 things? You know that already, before you even write something, you go, he's just going to ask me if I've done the 4 things. But if you're new to the channel, you don't know that. If you're new to the channel, you also don't know how neurotic you are. So in order before you ask any question, you can ask any question you want, by the way. You just have to be okay with my response. You may not like it. I will honestly tell you what I think that I believe could possibly be the most helpful thing for you to heal. My main goal is for you to be 100% free of pain. It's the only thing I care about. That means I don't care if you like the channel. I don't care if you subscribe. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you like what I tell you. I only care if the end result of your interaction with my channel is that you, like me, achieve complete, total, irreversible healing from your narcissistic relationship. Okay? So, let's talk about, very briefly, once again, the line between psychopathy and neurosis, psychosis and neurosis. Psychosis, which includes personality disorders like borderline and narcissistic personality disorder. Psychosis is somebody who actually does not know the difference between their narcissistic fantasies and reality. Okay? They don't have a sense of self. They don't have linear time. They don't remember what they did. They can't follow through with what they say they're going to do. They don't identify or attach to their feelings that they're having to you. They can hate you and love you, which means that the feeling itself isn't attached to any real anything. It's just simply a reaction, and you're nothing. You're just a projection that you morph with the breezes, and it's got nothing to do with you. That's psychosis. That's somebody who's got a mental illness. Neurosis is similar. You have a lot of the same narcissistic fantasies. You want to dive into, you want to, like the psychotic, you want to create your fantasy, your unrealistic, untrue fantasy, and you want to make it real. The difference is you can't, because you do know the difference between your fantasies and reality. You just don't like it. Case in point, you keep dating the narcissist or the borderline, even though they continuously hurt you all the time. They never change. It's always the same. They hoover you back, they convince you that they love you, and then they do the exact same thing except worse every single time. It never changes. And yet what do? You deny and you tell yourself this time it'll work. That's called neurosis. It looks and smells and acts exactly like psychosis, except for the fact that you actually know it's not real. And that's what makes it worse, because every time it happens, you knew that it was going to happen. So if you are a codependent, you are neurotic. You know what the truth is, you really don't like it, and you're doing everything in your power to try and become psychotic so you can convince yourself that your narcissistic fantasy is real. But you can't do it. It causes a lot of pain. It causes what we call cognitive dissonance. It's a very painful way of saying really, really extreme confusion that you could kill yourself over. It's so painful. You suffer from that if you've been in a relationship. So bear in mind, here's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is very dogmatic. So I'm not pretending. So if somebody says you're too dogmatic, I will say I'm not dogmatic enough. I am very dogmatic. The name of this channel isn't there just for fun. The whole point of this channel is to get you to do the 4 things. To go no contact, to work all 12 steps of Codependence Anonymous or whatever 12-step group you want with a sponsor, to work with a psychologist when you can afford it, and number 4, have a daily meditative practice, which is really just step 11. So you can't do, in my experience, I am dogmatically saying that if you do not do thing 1 and thing 2, you will not completely heal. That is my experience. You might have some relief of symptoms, but it'll never completely go away. You will always be in pain. It will always be a sore point that will always flare up. You might even end up with other narcissists, other borderlines. You know, there are people on YouTube who make a living. They make money as life coaches and counselors who keep getting involved with narcissists and borderlines. They can't let go of it. I, so far, completely healed. I have not stepped in a bear trap again. Do you want to be completely healed and never end up in one of those relationships again? I have the answer. Doing things 1 and thing 2 completely, I am guaranteeing you will give you that. If you do it consistently for the rest of your life, I guarantee you. So when you ask me a question that does not involve you doing the 4 things, I am always going to bring you back to that. If you go to the doctor with gonorrhea, and the doctor goes, oh my God, you have gonorrhea. Here's some penicillin. Take this, follow the directions, and you go, thank you. You put it in your pocket and you say, so should I be taking vitamin C? Will that get rid of my gonorrhea? The doctor's going to go, sorry, did you not hear what I said? I said take the antibiotics. The antibiotics will cure you. Yes. And I really like the way you talk about antibiotics. I think it's really awesome. And it's great that you're a doctor. And it's great that they're there. And I really appreciate it. It's in my pocket. I'm really glad that you gave them to me. So if I do yoga and vitamin C, will that get rid of my gonorrhea? That would be a crazy thing to say, right? The doctor is emphatically and dogmatically saying, here's the cure. If you don't take it, you won't heal. I'm saying the same thing. So when you write me a question like the one I'm going to read, you now understand why I'm not interested in going down that path with you, not because of any negative feeling I have towards you whatsoever. I only have positive feelings for you, which is I know the cure, and if you don't take it, I know that you won't heal. Dogmatic, yes, indeed. But my challenge to everybody who watches this channel is if you think that I'm wrong, which you have every right to that, and listen, I'm an incredibly skeptical person about all kinds of things. And before I make a decision, I test it out thoroughly. So if somebody says, if you take this horny goat weed and you do this on a regular basis, your muscles will grow by 5 inches. As crazy as that sounds, I'll go and try it. I'll go and take it for a month and I'll go to the gym, and if I don't get 5 inches, then I know that it's wrong. But if all of a sudden I get these great gains from going to the gym and taking horny goat weed, then I know, oh my God, they were telling the truth. They're usually not. So I'm giving you the option. I'm saying, prove me wrong. Seriously, I want you to work all 12 steps with a sponsor for 6 months with everything that you have. I mean, do it completely. Don't slack off. Do it for 6 months and then come back and tell me that it didn't work. Then come back and tell me that it wasn't absolutely transformationally healing, far more healing than anything you've ever tried before. I dare you to come back and not say that. So take me up on that challenge. I want you to go prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. All right, so let's get into the comment. So somebody new to the channel, they talk about talk about one of my other videos and they really liked it. Said that was the most well-explained, hardest truth I needed to hear. Thank you for making sense. Very eye-opening and logical. I needed this. Great. Then they watched another channel, another of my videos. And then they come back and say, what are your thoughts on radical acceptance and Stoic philosophy as an extra crutch in the healing of oneself? And I respond and I say, before I answer your question, please tell me how far you've gotten with doing the 4 things. Here's the response. I am in no contact, okay, so that's thing 1, in the form of blocking, no communication, did not move address, went to a psychologist for 6 months, which is sort of like halfway through thing 3, because I'm not a big fan of a psychologist. So, okay, never mind, I thought you said psychiatrist. So that's thing 3. He went to a psychologist for 6 months. Apparently he doesn't go anymore. So he sort of dabbled in thing 3. Came to the viewpoint of stop looking, blaming her, but looking at me, why I allowed it to happen, blah, blah, blah. Started working out, which is a great thing, but that's not one of the 4 things. I asked him how far he'd gotten in the 4 things. So what does working out have to do with that? I don't know. He quit smoking. That's also awesome, but that's not one of the 4 things either. And he quit cannabis addiction. Well, okay, so he quit cannabis. Awesome. That's also not one of the 4 things. But that's a wonderful thing too. All of those things are great. I got nothing against any of them. I would say those will only help you in doing the 4 things, which includes thing number 2, which is working the 12 steps. He says, Stoic literature has helped me a great deal through all this. I don't doubt that. He says also reading Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules book on his own. I don't know who that is. I don't know what that means. I meditated in the form of walking through nature every day with an average of 20,000 steps. This is what I am doing. So, great. He answered my question. He's doing a bunch of really great stuff, but he's not doing the 4 things. The 4 things are a unit. Doing thing 1 and dabbling in thing 3 and sort of looking at and sniffing at thing 4 doesn't work. Now, let's say you don't want to do all 4 things, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because they're easy to do as hell. I'm giving you an out. You only have to do thing 1 and thing 2 completely. You can do thing 3 when you feel like it. Thing 4 is already part of thing 2, so you don't have to worry about that. The only thing that I'm saying is required is to go complete no contact to the point where you make it impossible for them to contact you ever again. And number 2, you work all 12 steps with a sponsor. If you don't do those 2 things, I am telling you dogmatically, there's a good chance you will never completely heal. So I respond, because the answer to his question is, I haven't done all 4 things yet. So I respond and I say, well, you've done thing 1. So as you know, I suggest that completely doing thing 1 and thing 2 are what is necessary for complete healing. Since you haven't done thing number 2 yet, you don't know how effective it is in comparison to what you are doing now. So I'm not taking into account what he's doing, but I'm being nice here. What I'm saying is those things are great, but they're not going to heal you. And this is the neurosis. If you are a codependent, you will do all kinds of half measures, or you will do measures fully. If you don't know about the 4 things, you'll do what you know. But one of the interesting things about codependents is that they don't want to do thing 2, even though thing 2 will give them all the things that they want when they come onto my channel. You'll find it's, number 1, it's free. You can do it whenever you want. You can do it from home. You can do it in a Zoom meeting, or you can go hang out with people. You can get tons of people to sit and listen to you bitch and kvetch and moan. You can get phone numbers and friends. You might even meet a hot chick in there. You can get everything you want from this channel and more by doing thing number 2. Now, working the 12 steps, that actually will take some work, but it's free and it's more powerfully healing than going to a therapist, in my experience. So why you wouldn't do thing number 2, I don't know. But people on this channel, a lot of people don't. I know people listening to me haven't done it. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. That your addiction has within it this neurosis that keeps telling you you don't need to take the antibiotics. That's why I made that. It's the same idea. You go back to the doctor, a week later, and you say, yeah, my gonorrhea is worse, but I've been taking more vitamin C, and I've also been taking some ginseng. So when you come onto my channel and you ask me these kinds of questions, what do you think about Stoicism and so-and-so's videos on, what do I think? I think they're not the cure. I think that they might be great as an adjunct, but they're not a cure. So that's why I always ask, because I want to know where you're coming from. How far are you in doing the 4 things? Now, if he had said, oh, I am thoroughly working the steps with a sponsor, I would say, great. Ask your sponsor. Talk to your sponsor about that stuff. That sounds great. That's what I would have said. But I asked, has he done thing 1 and thing 2? Because if I say anything else, then I am potentially co-signing his craziness and giving him, if I say, yeah, that's because I know what Stoicism is. It's awesome. Whatever that other thing is sounds really great too. But if I say, yeah, those things are great, then he goes, oh, okay, good. Yeah, maybe I'll do thing 2 some other time. I'm going to keep doing this other thing. And I don't want to be a part of that. I have zero interest in anybody coming to my channel and doing anything other than doing the 4 things. My hope for you is that you do the 4 things and never have to come back to my channel. My hope is that my channel becomes so irrelevant that nobody needs it. But actually, I barely put any videos up on this channel, and it's more popular than the channel that I actually put all of my time and effort that I make all my money off. I work my ass off on this one, and I do nothing on this one, and people love it. So there's nobody on YouTube that's going to be more honest with you than I am. I want you only to feel better, and I don't want you to ever have to come back here again. So do the 4 things. Don't ask me about other stuff, especially if you haven't done the 12 steps. And let me repeat myself. Anybody who says that the 12 steps don't work on codependence are people, number 1, who have never worked the 12 steps, and they can never talk about something they haven't done. Nobody can talk with authority about something they haven't done. And number 2, you've got to wonder about medical professionals who tell you not to do something that does not in any way conflict with therapy. In fact, modern therapy has been largely based off of the 12-step work, even therapists who say they don't believe in the 12 steps. So anybody who says don't work the 12 steps, you got to take everything they say with a grain of salt, okay? And again, if you don't like what I'm saying, I dare you to prove me wrong. Go work the 12 steps with everything that you have for 6 months. Get through all 12 of them with a sponsor, and then come back and tell me that they didn't work. I dare you. All right, that's it. Take care, and I will see you guys all next time.